The city sleeps, but the screens remain awake. A quiet hum in the room for sanity's sake. Dusting off the shadows from the window pane. Just the midnight thoughts and the falling rain. Tracing lines across an empty endless white. Adjusting the opacity of the fading light. I pulled the cursor down, trying to find the edge. Walking carefully on this creative ledge. A cup of coffee gone cold hours ago. The neon signs outside put on a silent show. Breathing in the static of the midnight air. Finding perfect symmetry when no one is there. And the ticks and the talks, the clock on the wall. Building up these layers just to watch them fall. I'm blurring out the noise, sharpening the view. Looking for a color that feels brand new. Velvet silhouettes in the glow of the screen. Painting out the spaces in between. It's a quiet jazz rhythm in a digital space. Running through the night at my own slow pace. Yeah, the velvet silhouettes, they guide me through. Mixing up the grays with the darker blue. We don't rush the art, we just let it breathe. In the silent room where I weave the dream. Aligning all the margins, snapping to the grid. Uncovering the secrets that the daylight hid. The upright bass is humming through the speaker cones. A sanctuary built from these isolated tones. Every click is a heartbeat, every drag a sigh. Watching all the heavy clouds rolling through the sky. I crop out the sorrow, zoom in on the piece. Waiting for the morning when the shadows cease. Snap it to the left, fade it to the right. We're riding on the rhythm of the quiet night. Snap it to the left, fade it to the right. Just keeping all the vectors and the visions tight. Part is the blank slate, staring at the screen, letting it marinate. But I trust the process, trust the subtle sway, washing all the clutter of the mind away. In a digital space, running through the night at my own slow pace. Yeah, the velvet silhouettes, they guide me through. Mixing up the grays with the darker blue. We don't rush the art, we just let it breathe. In this silent room where I weave the dream. Say goodbye, let the heavy eyelids close. Where the music goes, only midnight knows. Just the quiet rhythm, just a gentle sway. We'll do it all again on another day. Setting up the workspace, soft brush on the snare, let the layers build. Foreground, background, everything is shifting. Through the sea of pixels, I am slowly drifting. Trying to mask the doubts that hover in my mind. Searching for a reference I can never find. The brush tool glides across a digital terrain. Washing out the static, washing out the pain. I drop the saturation, keep the contrast low. Taking in the rhythm, taking it slow. Nobody is calling, the phone is face down. I'm the only resident in this quiet town. Adding opaque layers to the canvas of the night. Hiding all the flaws, keeping them out of sight. It's a pop, hip-hop groove with the lo-fi soul. Trying to take the pieces and make them whole. We blend the hard edges, soften up the lines. Waiting for the moment when the star aligns. Opaque layers keeping me warm, a quiet little shelter in the digital storm. Control-Z the mistakes, but life doesn't work that way. You carry all the marks from the struggles of the day. So I pour it in the art, pour it in the beat. Walking down this lonely, illuminated street, the color palettes muted, earth tones and gray. Sometimes it's the silence that has the most to say. Gradient maps pulling me from dark to light. Trusting in the vision, trusting in the sight. Layer 1, layer 2, keep the balance true. Shadows on the wall and the sky is deep blue. Layer 3, layer 4, unlock another door. Give me just a minute, let me add a little more. They say transparency is what you really need, but sometimes a little mystery is the planet seed. I hide behind the canvas, hide behind the screen, crafting up a world that you have never seen. Adding opaque layers to the canvas of the night, hiding all the flaws, keeping them out of sight. It's a pop, hip-hop groove with a lo-fi soul, trying to take the pieces and make them whole. We blend the hard edges, soften up the lines, waiting for the moment when the star aligns. Opaque layers keeping me warm, a quiet little shelter in the digital storm. Merge visible, save as a new dream. The bass is walking out now, let the layers settle. Deep breaths. Space. It's all about the space between the letters, the notes, the breaths. A millimeter off and the balance falls apart. It's the invisible geometry that breaks the heart. I'm adjusting the distance between you and me, like letters on a billboard that nobody can see. The trumpet is crying in the alley down below, a solitary figure in the neon glow. I'm zooming in tight, 500%, wondering where all the precious hours went. But the work is the therapy, the screen is the cure, making sure the typography is solid and pure. Not too close, but not too far away, finding the exact words that I need to say. The rhythm is a pendulum swinging in the dark, leaving a permanent, beautiful mark. Midnight burning, fixing up the gaps, navigating life without any drawn maps. It's the jazz and the hip-hop, the sway and the beat, the quiet revolution on a slumbering street. We adjust the track and give it room to breathe, hiding all the magic up inside the sleeve. Midnight burning, pushing through the night, trying to get the spacing and the feelings just right. Serif or sans, it's a choice you gotta make. Every little detail is another risk to take. I type out a message that I'll probably delete. The cursor is blinking to the tempo of the beat. A sip of cold water, a stretch of the spine. Everything is heavy, but I tell myself I'm fine. The baseline is steady, walking down the stairs, catching all the worries and the unspoken prayers. Space it out, lock it down, let the rhythm flow. This is how the story in the midnight hours go. Space it out, lock it down, keep the anchor deep. We We are just the artists in a world that's gone to sleep. Sometimes I feel like I'm crammed in a box, trying to break the combinations on these heavy locks. But then I find the rhythm, find the open air, and suddenly there's beauty waiting everywhere. Midnight turning, fixing up the gaps, navigating life without any drawn maps. It's the jazz and the hip-hop, the sway and the beat, the quiet revolution on a slumbering street. We adjust the track and give it room to breathe, hiding all the magic up inside the sleeve. Midnight turning, pushing through the night, trying to get the spacing and the feelings just right. Perfect alignment, the notes are sitting exactly where they belong. Breathing the jazz, exhale the noise. Yeah. Late night sessions, infinite scaling. Let the guitar talk. Yeah. Nodes and handles, pulling out the curves, testing my patience, testing my nerves. But there's a certain piece in the geometry, a mathematical silent poetry. I spilled a little espresso on the sketch pad page, a dark brown circle on this modern stage. It's an accidental texture and organic flaw. Sometimes that's the best thing that I ever draw. The beat is just knocking, lazy and loose, drinking down the rhythm like a magical juice. Scale it up to infinity, it never gets blurred, like a whispered promise or a secret word. I'm building up the wireframes, building up the soul, paying the tolls to make it to the goal. Vector lines and coffee stains, washing out the losses, counting up the gains. It's a laid-back groove, jazzy and slow. We got nowhere else that we need to go. Stretching out the shapes, filling in the hues, chasing out the demons in the midnight blues. Vector lines and coffee stains, dancing in the rhythm while the quiet city reigns. Group the elements, lock them in place, wiping the exhaustion right off of my face. The guitar is strumming a diminished chord, reminding me why I am gripping this sword. It's the love for the craft, the love for the art, the unyielding fire in the center of the heart. I export the file, watch the progress bar, wondering if this one will carry me far, or just be another file on the hard drive spinning. Every single night is a brand new beginning. Pull the curve, make it smooth, let the track ride. Got the jazz chords flowing on the inside. Pull the curve, make it smooth, let the track ride. With the vinyl crackle, keeping nothing left to hide. all the quiet city reigns. Save your progress, wipe the desk clean, leave the coffee stain, it adds character. Just let the beat ride out. Dark gray, almost black, the color of the ocean at 3 a.m. Let's sink into it. Selecting the swatch is Pantone 43C, the deepest shade of gray looking back at me. It's the color of the concrete, the color of the night, when you're sitting in the studio devoid of any light. The synth pad swells like a wave on the shore, leaving me wanting just a little bit more. I'm mixing down the levels, balancing the EQ, trying to find a frequency that resonates with you. It's a heavy kind of beauty, a solitary vibe, a feeling that the words can never fully describe. Swallowing the echoes in the empty room, finding the flowers that grow in the gloom. The kick drum is knocking like a fist on the door, telling me it's time to settle up the score. Pantone 43C, paint in the town, a deep jazz rhythm wearing a heavy crown. It's pop hip-hop with the cinematic scope, walking on the wire of a delicate rope. We are coloring the shadows, giving them a voice, choosing the quiet when we have the choice. Pantone 43C, wrapping me tight, a dark gray blanket for the lonely night. For the lonely night. Yeah. The hex code is typing 232B2B, a dark little secret between you and me. I'm arranging the timeline, cutting up the clips, tasting the espresso on my tired lips. The bass line is thick, crawling on the floor. I've been in this exact same scenario before, but the music keeps me grounded, keeps me in the zone, reminding me I'm better off when I am on my own. Or maybe I'm just lying, maybe I just hide, using all these colors for the feelings inside. Drop the needle on the wax, let the color bleed. This immersive atmosphere is all that I need. Drop the needle on the wax, watch the levels rise, see the universe reflected in the dark gray skies. They say that gray is boring, they say that gray is dull, but they don't know the beauty of a quiet lull. It's the canvas for the bright, the foundation of the deep, the guardian of the secrets that we always keep. Pantone 43C, paint in the town, a deep jazz rhythm wearing a heavy crown. It's pop hip-hop with the cinematic scope, walking on the wire of the delicate rope. We are coloring the shadows, giving them a voice, choosing the quiet when we have the choice. Pantone 43C, wrapping me tight, a dark gray blanket for the lonely night. Exporting the final mix, the palette is set, the gray is perfect, rest now. Dark gray, almost black. Yeah, the city is loud, but the room is quiet. Just me, the screen, and the hum of the fridge. Let's mix it down. Yeah. Cyan skies turning black as the midnight falls. Shadows dancing on these exposed brick walls. Magenta bleeding through the cracks in the glass. Watching all the yellow cabs moving so fast. I'm sitting here calibrating all of my dreams. Stitching up the fabric, tearing at the seams. The key color is dark, a heavy shade of blue. Trying to find the balance, trying to stay true. It's at 3 a.m. hustle in the concrete maze. Lost inside the rhythm, lost inside the haze. Dialing in the numbers, setting up the print. Looking for a clue, looking for a hint. The boom bap is steady, like a heartbeat loud. Standing all alone in the middle of the crowd. These are my CMYK confessions in the dark, leaving behind a tiny invisible mark. It's a jazz hop rhythm bouncing off the street. Finding my salvation in the middle of the beat. Mix the sign with the yellow, watch the green rise. Can't hide the exhaustion in these heavy eyes, but we keep the press rolling, keep the colors deep in this restless burrow that forgets to sleep. Zoom out to see the picture, zoom in for the flaw. Living by a different kind of natural law. The road's piano dripping like honey on the track. Moving forward now, never looking back. I spilled a little ink on the hardwood floor, reminding me exactly what I'm fighting for. 1,000 different layers just to build a single frame. Nobody in this city even knows my name, but the art is a language that the silence speaks. Washing off the teardrops rolling down my cheeks. Mix it up, print it out, let the colors run. We won't close our eyes until the work is done. Mix it up, print it out, keep the levels right. Riding on the frequency of the lonely night. Thing is knowing when to stop, when to let it go, when to let it drop. But the perfectionist inside me won't let me be trapped inside this beautiful, colorful sea. These are my CMYK confessions in the dark, leaving behind a tiny invisible mark. It's a jazz hop rhythm bouncing off the street. Finding my salvation in the middle of the beat. Mix the sound with the yellow, watch the green arise. Can't hide the exhaustion in these heavy eyes, but we keep the press rolling, keep the colors deep in this restless burrow that forgets to sleep. Check the proofs, everything looks aligned. Let the ink dry, breathe. Grab the pen tool, click, drag, find the curve. Plotting out a point on an endless empty grid, trying to uncover what the daylight hid. I'm pulling on the handle, stretching out the line, telling my reflection that I'm doing fine. The Bézier curve is a metaphor for life, cutting through the tension like a sharpened knife. Sometimes it's a corner, jagged and austere. Sometimes it's a circle, erasing all the fear. The muted trumpet crying from the avenue below, singing out a melody that I already know. Anchor point drift, letting it slide. Got nothing in my pockets, got nothing to hide. It's a smooth pop rhythm with the jazzy soul, paying all my dues to the midnight toll. We connect the dots, try to make a shape, looking for a tiny moment of escape. Anchor point drift, floating through the space, moving through the city at a slower pace. Hold down shift, snap it to the guide. Keep the messy feelings locked up inside. I duplicate the layer, flip it upside down, wearing my fatigue like a heavy crown. The baseline is walking steady and slow, watering the seeds that I'm trying to grow. It's a solitary practice, a digital monk, living out a suitcase, packing up the trunk. But every single vector is a piece of my mind, leaving all the static and the noise behind. Click and drag, let it bend, watch the path unfold. Stories of the night that remain untold. Click and drag, let it bend, keep the tension tight. We are just the phantoms of the neon light. Tried to make it perfect, tried to make it clean, but life is just the messy parts in between. So I embrace the errors, let the lines cross, finding some direction inside the loss. Anchor point shift, letting it slide. Got nothing in my pockets, got nothing to hide. It's a smooth pop rhythm with the jazzy soul, paying all my dues to the midnight toll. We connect the dots, try to make a shape, looking for a tiny moment of escape. Anchor point drift, floating through the space, moving through the city at a slower pace. Close the path, fill it with a solid color. The shape is complete. Blank canvas. Let the guitar set the mood. Drop the 808. Staring at the monitor, a window to the void, dodging all the thoughts that leave me paranoid. I'm painting with the pixels, painting with the sound, keeping both my sneakers firmly on the ground. The acoustic guitar is chopping up the time, searching for a reason, searching for a rhyme. The 808 is booming, rattling the chair, a heavy kind of magic lingering in the air. I drop a new filter, add a little grain, washing off the remnants of the daily drain. Brush strokes, heavy colors running deep, promises I made that I'm trying to keep. The kick drum is my metronome, the snare is my guide, navigating through this emotional tide. Welcome to the 808 canvas of my mind, leaving all the ordinary rules behind. It's a lo-fi jazz trip, warm and profound, laying all my secrets out on the ground. We blend the hard kicks with a gentle strum, waiting for the morning sun to finally come. The 808 canvas, wide and immense, breaking down the walls of my own defense. CMD+N to save, but you can't save the past. Nothing in this beautiful world is built to last, so I captured this moment, trap it in a file, try to make the loneliness worthwhile. The baseline is a blanket wrapping me up warm, a little bit of shelter in the center of a storm. I'm erasing all the borders, blurring out the edge, standing on the balcony looking off the ledge. Not afraid to fall, just ready to fly underneath the purple of the Brooklyn sky. Paint it with the bass, sketch it with the kick, watch the whole masterpiece come together quick. Paint it with the bass, sketch it with the kick, we're just doing magic, it's a late night trick. see the pieces of my broken heart embedded in the metadata, hidden in the code. Walking by myself down this quiet road. Welcome to the 808 canvas of my mind, leaving all the ordinary rules behind. It's a lo-fi jazz trip, warm and profound, laying all my secrets out on the ground. We blend the hard kicks with the gentle strum, waiting for the morning sun to finally come. The 808 canvas, wide immense, breaking down the walls of my own defense. Step back, look at the whole picture. It's messy, but it's real. Let the bass ride out. The final stage. Waiting for the bar to fill. Just thinking. Progress bars crawling, pixel by pixel, the rain against the window, cold and abyssal. I'm sitting in the glow of a 27-inch, never backing down, never giving an inch. The saxophone is weeping a melancholy tune, howling at the fragments of the hidden moon. I'm rendering the motion, rendering the soul, watching how the heavy night takes its toll. A lukewarm cup of tea sitting on the desk, everything is quiet, beautifully grotesque. 0 to 100 takes a little time, finding the rhythm, finding the rhyme. The vinyl crackle pops like a fire in the grate, accepting all the consequences of this late night fate. Exploding dreams in a digital format, wiping off my shoes on the welcome mat. It's a late night pop, pop, smooth and refined, leaving all the heavy baggage far behind. We coat the sorrow, compress all the tears, trying to outrun all our quietest fears. Exploding dreams while the city is asleep, promises to myself that I swear I'll keep. Estimated time is a minute and a half. I look at an old photo and force a little laugh. It's crazy how the time just slips right through your hands, like an hourglass filled with the finest sands. The kick drum is steady, laying down the law, the most beautiful flaws that you ever saw. I check the file size, megabytes of pain, washed away cleanly by the midnight rain. The metadata tags hold the story of my life, a solitary dancer on the edge of a knife. Watch the bar low, let the sax blow. This is the only life that I really know. Watch the bar low, let the sax blow. Taking it easy, taking it slow. Notice the details that I made, or will it just vanish into the shade? It doesn't really matter, the process is the price. The truth is reflected in these tides. Exporting dreams in a digital format, wiping off my shoes on the welcome mat. It's a late night pop, pop, smooth and refined, leaving all the heavy baggage far behind. We encode the sorrow, compress all the tears, trying to outrun all our quietest fears. Exporting dreams while the city is asleep, promises to myself that I swear I'll keep. Render complete, file save successfully. Close the laptop. Good night, Brooklyn. low resolution, but the feeling is high. Listen to the keys. Living in a world that demands a high-res view, but sometimes I just wanna blur the edges too. 72 DPI, looking at the screen, a jagged little reality if you know what I mean. The electric piano floating like a ghost, drinking to the things that we miss the most. A heavy kick drum like a footstep on a stair, echoing out into the empty air. I'm zooming in tight on a pixelated heart, trying to figure out where the healing can start. It doesn't need to be sharp to be completely real. It's not about the look, it's about how it makes you feel. The hi-hats are ticking, counting down the hours. Water in the dirt just to get a few flowers. 72 DPI, keeping it low-key, a deep jazz rhythm for the refugee. It's a pop, hip-hop bounce with the heavy kind of weight, arriving at the station just a little bit late. We don't need the gloss, we don't need the shine, just a good beat and a little peace of mind. 72 DPI, raw and unrefined, the most beautiful mess that you'll ever find. You'll ever find. I compress the image, watch the quality drop. Sometimes you just want the spinning to stop. The artifacts are showing, the colors start to bend, like the calluses forming on a worker's hand. The bass is a monster lurking in the deep, guarding all the promises I failed to keep. I navigate the software, shortcut keys in mind, leaving the pursuit of perfection behind. A blurry little photo of a moment in the sun, reminding me the journey has only just begun. Keep it low res, let the groove set. This is a night that you won't forget. Keep it low res, let the groove set, paying off the balance of a heavy debt. They want the pristine, but there's magic in the static on the dirty screen. It's the grit and the grain that makes the story true. A low resolution portrait of me and you. 72 DPI, keeping it low key, a deep jazz rhythm for the refugee. It's a pop, hip-hop bounce with the heavy kind of weight, arriving at the station just a little bit late. We don't need the gloss, we don't need the shine, just a good beat and a little peace of mind. 72 DPI, raw and unrefined, the most beautiful mess that you'll ever find. It doesn't have to be perfect, it just has to be finished. Let the frequencies wash over you, fade out the grip. Yeah, let the light in. Opacity back to 100. A fresh start. Let's go. Yeah, yeah. Yeah. Woke up with the sunlight hitting the floor. Yesterday's worries don't live here anymore. I stretch on my arms, shake the sleep from my head, leaving all the heavy thoughts tucked inside the bed. The coffee is brewing, the aroma is sweet, hearing the rhythm of the early morning street. I pull up a chair, wipe the dust off the keys, feeling a sudden unbelievable breeze. The monitor glows with a brilliant white light, everything I look at is perfectly bright. No complicated layers, no tangled up mess, just a brand new day wearing a bright new dress. Dialing up the brightness, adjusting the hue, taking a deep breath, taking in the view. The bounce and the beat is matching my stride, got a whole lot today, ready to see what the universe will say. The electric piano is skipping along, turning my morning routine to a song. I drop in a gradient, orange to gold, a story of the morning that has to be told. The snare drum is crisp like a bite of an apple, watching how the sunlight and the shadows dapple across the wooden desk, across my own hands, executing all of my beautiful plans. I don't need a map, I don't need a guide, riding on the crest of this positive tide. Turn it up, keep it bright, let the rhythm play. We are wide awake and we're seizing the day. Turn it up, keep it bright, feeling so alive, working on the rhythm of a 9 to 5. Just right. The colors are vibrant, the burdens are light. I'm saving this feeling, pressing command. It's nothing on the schedule but sheer happiness. Morning opacity, clear as a bell, breaking the chains of that midnight spell. It's an upbeat jazz, hop tapping the toes, following the wind wherever it goes. We set the blend mode to multiply the fun, basking in the glory of the morning sun. Morning opacity, vivid and clean, the sharpest resolution that I've ever seen. Yeah, we are painting with the light today, chasing all the shadows far, far away. Keep the canvas wide open, let the inspiration flow naturally. The beat is walking out into the sun. Have a good day. Grab the pen tool, but make it light. Draw a curve that reaches the sky, smooth it out. Plotting the first point right here in the sun, knowing that the magic has finally begun. I pull on the handle, create a soft arc, leaving the winter, the cold and the dark. The acoustic guitar is strumming so sweet, adding a spring to the step on my feet. I'm tracing the silhouette of a new hope, looking at the city through a kaleidoscope. No jagged edges, no corners today, everything is flowing in a beautiful way. The percussion is light, a tap on the glass, watching the beautiful morning hours pass. Connect point A to a beautiful point B, unlocking the door and I'm turning the key. The rhythm is lifting me off of the ground, lost in the melody, happily found. Sunlit Bézier, drawing the lines, reading all the universe's positive signs. It's a smooth pop groove with a sunny embrace, putting a permanent smile on my face. We curve around the obstacles, glide through the air, living this moment without any care. Sunlit Bézier, effortless art, a masterpiece built from a light, happy heart. I'm changing the stroke weight, making it bold, a story of confidence waiting to be told. The window is open, the breeze is so kind, leaving the doubts and the worries behind. I select all the objects, group them as one, a perfect alignment beneath the bright sun. The bass line is humming a happy little tune, promising a beautiful afternoon. I don't need to force it, I don't need to strive, just feeling so incredibly lucky to be alive. Curve it up, smooth it down, let the guitar ring. This is the song that the morning birds sing. Curve it up, smooth it down, watch the design grow, going with the rhythm and the natural flow. canvas is filled with the pain. But today there is only sunshine, no rain. The canvas is waiting, so eager and bright, and everything I draw is coming out right. Sunlit Bézier, drawing the lines, reading all the universe's positive signs. It's a smooth pop groove with a sunny embrace, putting a permanent smile on my face. We curve around the obstacles, glide through the air, living this moment without any care. Sunlit Bézier, effortless art, a masterpiece built from a light, happy heart. Path closed, fill it with a bright, warm yellow. The composition is flawless today. Just let the guitar breathe. New document. Let's make the dimensions huge. Infinite possibilities. Starting from scratch, a beautiful blank page, stepping right onto a brand new stage. I'm leaving the history panel behind, a totally clear and uncluttered mind. The saxophone blast with a cheerful hello, a bright yellow taxi is passing below. I stretch out my fingers, crack my knuckles twice. The morning air in Brooklyn is feeling so nice. I drop a new layer, call it good vibes, joining the ranks of the morning town tribes. No need for a reference, no need to peek. I'm finding the answers that I used to seek. Width and height, setting the max, nothing but forward, no looking back. The groove is so lively, shaking the room, sweeping away every shadow and gloom. Cmd+N, starting it fresh, where the digital dreams and the real world mesh. It's a bright pop bounce, jazzy and free, the best possible version of me. We hit the ground running, creating the spark, leaving our beautiful, colorful mark. Cmd+N, opening the file, doing it all with a giant smile. I pick up the brush tool, the diameter wide, painting the feelings I'm holding inside. Splash of magenta, dash of cyan, executing a brilliant and wonderful plan. The jazz chords are bouncing, playful and light. Everything's easy, everything's right. I don't even care if I make a mistake. Every small error is a risk I can take, because the undo button is resting right there. But honestly, I've got no worries to spare, just flowing and glowing and making it pop. And I don't ever want this feeling to stop. New canvas, new day, let the sax swell. We've got the wind pushing hard in our sail. New canvas, new day, setting the tone, building a kingdom of light of our the beauty of today. The palette is loaded with the brightest of hues. I'm saying goodbye to the midnight blues. Cmd+N, starting it fresh, where the digital dreams and the real world mesh. It's a bright pop bounce, jazzy and free, the best possible version of me. We hit the ground running, creating the spark, leaving our beautiful, colorful mark. Cmd+N, open the file, doing it all with a giant smile. Today's best day ever. Keep the layers unlocked, let the rhythm carry you out. Smile. Yeah. Everything is perfectly aligned today. Just snap it right into place. Listen to that bass. Margin to margin, top to the base, everything's sitting in its perfect place. The grid lines are glowing, subtle and thin. I know that today I am going to win. I turn on the snap, watch the elements lock. No need to rush, no need to watch the clock. The funky bass line is walking the street, putting a bounce in the soles of my feet. I sip on an iced latte, condensation cold, feeling so brave, feeling so bold. The layout is balanced, symmetrical bliss. Nothing about this morning is amiss. Golden ratio got in my hand, the most beautiful geometry in the land. The hi-hats are ticking a steady cool pace, putting the finishing touch on the space. Snap to the grid, snap to the light, everything is fitting together just right. It's a laid-back jazz, hot, fresh and supreme, living inside of a daylight dream. We measure the distance, align it with care, breathe in the crisp, clean morning air. Snap to the grid, keeping it neat, finding perfection in the hip-hop beat. I adjust the tight geography, kerning it wide, feeling a surge of professional pride. The sunlight is hitting the side of my face. I'm moving with elegance, moving with grace. A quick cup of water, a glance at the sky, watching the fluffy white clouds rolling by. No heavy revisions, no client demands, just my own vision right here in my hands. The rhythm is steady, a comforting groove, telling my body it's time to move. I lean back in my chair, put my hands on my hair, remembering exactly what my intuition said. Lock the layers, snap the guide, let the bass bump over every hurdle, watch me easily jump. Lock the layers, snap the guide, feeling so fine, everything is resting right on the line. But today I'm just building a well-structured fire, a place where the logic and beauty combine, a perfectly calculated, brilliant design. Snap to the grid, snap to the light, everything is fitting together just right. It's a laid-back jazz, hot, fresh and supreme, living inside of a daylight dream. We measure the distance, align it with care, breathe in the crisp, clean morning air. Snap to the grid, keeping it neat, finding perfection in the hip-hop beat. Perfect alignment, the guides can be hidden now, the work speaks for itself. Stay in the groove. Select the color picker, let's find the deepest shade. Drop the needle. Typing in the values, hashtag 0047 A and B, unlocking the midnight door. It's a cobalt reflection on a weary, tired face, finding my momentum in this isolated space. The upright bass is pulling me down into the deep, where the restless city and the broken sirens sleep. I'm bathing in the coolness of the digital display, washing all the frantic burning reds and golds away. A sip of sparkling water, bubbles rising to the top. Once the rhythm catches, I don't ever wanna stop. Cooling down the timeline, chilling out the mind, searching for the clarity I usually leave behind. The road's piano dropping, little droplets on the beat, a freezing kind of fire, an emotional retreat. We're swimming in the cobalt, diving in the blue, filtering the static till the message rings true. It's a jazz pop rhythm with the subterranean flow, taking all the pressure, letting all the tension go, just matching up the X frequency of artificial light. Yeah, the Cobalt Hex Codes wrapping around my soul, putting all the fractured little pieces in a hole. I slide the saturation, push it to the right. Everything is glowing with an underwater light. The snare is just a whisper, skipping on the stone, reminding me it's beautiful to operate alone. I'm mapping out the textures, a melancholy sea, a universe of blue that belongs to only me. The skyline out the window is a silhouette in gray, but inside of this monitor the ocean's out to play. I'm freezing all the layers, keeping everything intact, separating all the wild fiction from the facts. Sample that blue, let the eyedropper fall. We're painting every corner of the solitary hall. That blue, feel the temperature drop. We're grooving in the basement of this lonely little shop. This color can unfold. It's the peace inside the storm. It's the quiet in the breath, the silent, steady heartbeat that is conquering the death. We're swimming in the cobalt, diving in the blue, filtering the static till the message rings true. It's a jazz pop rhythm with the subterranean flow, taking all the pressure, letting all the tension go. Just matching up the hex codes, painting out the night, riding on the frequency of artificial light. Yeah, the Cobalt Hex Codes wrap around my soul, putting all the fractured little pieces in a whole. The palette is set, the mind is clear, stay in the cool zone, just breathe. Expose it to the light, let the chemicals react, watch the cyan bloom. Laying out the blueprints on a heavy wooden desk, tracing all the memories, the beautiful grotesque, coating up the paper with the sensitive profound, waiting for the quietness to make a little sound. The jazzy guitar licks are bending like a wire, caught between the freezing water and the raging fire. I place the negative right in the center of the frame. Nothing in this Brooklyn room will ever be the same. The brush drums are sweeping up the ashes of the day. I'm letting all the ultraviolet wash the pain away, just waiting for the sun to do the heavy work for me, to burn the silhouette of what I really wanna be. The rhythm is a chemical reacting in the dark, leaving an indelible and complicated mark. Cyanotype memories washing in the sink, changing all the narratives before I even think. It's a laid-back groove with a melancholy hue, turning all the ordinary moments into blue. We rinse away the unexposed, keep the shadows tight, holding on to everything that makes the feeling right. Cyanotype memories drying on the line, telling my soul softly that the future will be fine. The water turns a vibrant, electric shade of teal, validating everything we secretly conceal. I clip it to the string and let the air conditioning blow, watching all the complicated tangle patterns show. It's a map of my mistakes, a topography of grief, rendered in a color that provides a sweet relief. The kick drum is a heartbeat, steady and resigned, leaving all the panic and the urgency behind. I'm cataloging moments in a monotone archive, proving to the universe that I am still alive. Expose it to the light, wash it in the stream. We're living out the narrative of a cyan-colored dream. Expose it to the light, let the details show. This is how the magic and the midnight hours go. strip the color palette down to one, to realize the damage that the heavy years have done. But in that single frequency, a purity remains, a beautiful translation of the losses and the gains. Cyanotype memories washing in the sink, changing all the narratives before I even think. It's a laid-back groove with a melancholic hue, turning all the ordinary moments into blue. We rinse away the unexposed, keep the shadows tight, holding on to everything that makes the feeling right. Cyanotype memories drying on the line, telling myself softly that the future will be fine. The print is dry, the image is fixed, no more fading. Let the guitar ring out. Watch it spread. No boundaries, no hard edges, just indigo. Dropping liquid watercolor right onto the page, watching how it dances like an actor on the stage. The paper is so thirsty, drinking up the dye. A miniature storm cloud blooming in the sky. It's bleeding through the margins, crossing over lines, ignoring all the rigid and the mathematical designs. The muted trumpet crying in a distant empty hall, a solitary witness to the beauty of the fall. I'm leaning back and letting all the gravity take hold, a story of surrender that is waiting to be told. Feathering the edges, dropping the opacity, embracing all the chaos and the unpredictability. The slow boom bap is anchoring the floating little soul, giving up the steering wheel and giving up control. Let the indigo bleed, let the color run wild. We're soothing the anxieties of the inner child. It's an atmospheric jazz, hop, heavy and profound. A velvet kind of blanket resting softly on the ground. We don't need a master, we don't need a dam. I'm finally accepting everything that I am. Let the indigo bleed, seeping through the floor. We aren't gonna hide the messy feelings anymore. I tried to keep it vector, tried to keep it neat, but life is just a puddle on a rainy city street. So I grabbed the largest brush, loaded with the dark, and aimed straight for the center of the complicated mark. The base is a leviathan swimming underneath, carrying the secrets that I hide behind my teeth. It blends into the shadows, a gradient of night, a beautiful progression from the darkness to the light. I watch the fiber soak it up, permanently stained, a record of the tears and how the heavy clouds rain. Let it spread, let it soak, let the water flow. There's a beautiful disaster in the indigo glow. Let it spread, let it soak, watch the edges blur. This is how the magic and the miracles occur. Control is just an illusion that we tightly hold, a story of perfection that we endlessly are told. But true art is the accident, the spill upon the floor, the unexpected visitor arriving at the indigo bleed, let the color run wild. We're soothing the anxieties of the inner child. It's an atmospheric jazz, hop, heavy and profound. A velvet kind of blanket resting softly on the ground. We don't need a mask, we don't need a dam. I'm finally accepting everything that I am. Let the indigo bleed seeping through the floor. We aren't gonna hide the messy feelings anymore. The page is saturated, the blending is complete. A masterpiece of accidents just drift away. Turn the rulers on, command R. Drag the line down, snap it. Yeah, yeah. Lost inside a document, a million pixels wide. Trying to find the center, trying to find a guide. I click and drag the ruler, pull a sapphire thread. A bright blue glowing line running right across my head. It snaps into position with a satisfying click. A little bit of magic, a geometric trick. The electric piano bounces like a rubber ball. I'm standing on the precipice, not afraid to fall. I line the typography, lock it to the grid. Opening the boxes where the inspiration hid. The snare is hitting crisp, cutting through the haze. Navigating through this complicated winding maze. Smart guys turning on, showing me the way. Highlighting the path for the middle of the day. The groove is picking up, putting wind inside the sail. I know that with these markers I am never gonna fail. Following the sapphire guide, straight and true. Building up a framework that is entirely new. It's an upbeat jazz, hop smooth and refined. Leaving all the guesswork and the heavy doubts behind. We measure out the space and keep the margins clean. The most precise alignment that the world has ever seen. Following the sapphire guide, locking it in place. Running with a smile in this digital race. I check the intersection, X and Y combine. Everything is parallel, everything is fine. The bass line is a funky syncopated friend, telling me this joyful energy will never end. I group the different elements, scale them as a whole. Feeding the momentum that is burning in my soul. No more floating aimless in the empty wide expanse. I got the choreography for this created dance. A bright blue navigation through the clutter and the noise. Finding my equilibrium, finding all my poise. Snap it left, snap it right, let the bright blue shine. Everything is beautiful and resting on the line. Snap it left, snap it right, feel the bouncy beat. We're dancing with precision on this digital street. Structure just to set you free. The scaffolding to climb so you can finally see. The bright blue lines are invisible to them, but to me they are the facets of a precious cut gem. Following the sapphire guide, straight and true. Building up a framework that is entirely new. It's an upbeat jazz, hop smooth and refined. Leaving all the guesswork and the heavy doubts behind. We measure out the space and keep the margins clean. The most precise alignment that the world has ever seen. Following the sapphire guide, locking it in place. Running with a smile in this digital race. Everything is aligned. Hide the guides, look at the perfection. Keep moving forward. Final conversion, RGB to CMYK. Let the colors deepen. Welcome to the Ultramarine. Clock is striking 3, the city holds its breath. I'm fired fighting off the tiredness, defying sleep and death. The color profile shifts, the shadows gain a weight, a heavy velvet darkness that I truly appreciate. It's midnight ultramarine, the pigment of the soul, paying off the balance of the lonely midnight toll. The cinematic paths are swelling like a rising tide, nowhere left to run to, nowhere left to hide. I sink into the chair, close my burning eyes, listening to the rhythm of the Brooklyn night skies. The heavy kick drum thuds, a slow and steady pound, the deepest, most magnificent and comforting sound. Rendering the final file, the progress bar is slow, basking in the aura of the monitor's glow. The frequencies are dip and dive into the floor. I don't think I can take this isolation anymore. Midnight ultramarine, sinking in the deep, promises to myself that I'm trying hard to keep. It's a chill jazz pop with a heavy hip-hop heart, tearing all the logic and the reasoning apart. We wrap ourselves in darkness, paint the canvas black, knowing that there isn't any way of going back. Midnight ultramarine, a beautiful embrace, a lonely little satellite floating through the space. The lap of luxury is a quiet, empty room where the flowers of the intellect finally can bloom. I'm saving down the history, closing all the tabs, stepping far away from these digital labs. The synth is a cathedral, echoing and vast, forgiving all the errors of the complicated past. I look at the reflection in the blacked out glass, watching how the ghost of my own intentions pass. It's a heavy shade of blue, the color of the void, but somehow inside it I am overjoyed, because the work is finished, the masterpiece is done. I'm waiting for the coming of the bright and yellow sun. Let the deep blue swallow, let the synth pad swell. This is the only story that I really wanna tell. Let the deep blue swallow, feel the heavy kick. The magic of the midnight is a solitary trick. With azure when the day is bright, but ultramarine is the guardian of the night. It holds the quiet secrets, it holds the heavy tears, it washes away the residue of all our deepest fears. Midnight ultramarine, sinking in the deep, promises to myself that I'm trying hard to keep. It's a chill jazz pop with a heavy hip-hop heart, tearing all the logic and the reasoning apart. We wrap ourselves in darkness, paint the canvas black, knowing that there isn't any way of going back. Midnight ultramarine, a beautiful embrace, a lonely little satellite floating through the space. System shutting down, good night.